Greetings, friends, and welcome to the woods. We've been talking about different ways that a person is uh, opened up to or made vulnerable to psychic infestations, parasites. We've talked about the those who are sensitive, exploring and coming back with a parasite. We've talked about uh, the medicine or drug connection. And I felt it was important to cover both of those first because both of those, it's easier to correct that problem when it was something that was a product of your choice, your decision to exert yourself, to explore, to do the things that's natural for a young and sentient being to want to do. We aren't given a lot of opportunities for adventure yet, mostly because you don't want your chattel in the pen to run around and get hurt. So you have to contain them. You have to make sure that they're going to be there for your use when you want them. So you're going to, stick them in a pen and discourage them from leaving. And that's what we've been up until recently. We've been chattel. But now that we're becoming our own person, our own sovereign being, we're going to want to explore. We're going to want to have real adventures in the world and in the universe. And we're going to have that opportunity. So, getting back to psychic parasites, it's easier to resolve it when it's the product of our own doing, so to speak, usually when we're young, or our choices through the uses of different medicines or drugs, different substances. You can choose not to. You can choose to clean up the problem and then not to. Or if you decide to do something again, to take the proper precautions now that you know what the problem is. Although most who have been acclimated to opening themselves up that way without limitation, it gets kind of hard to put the boundaries up and keep them up. And we're not accustomed to understanding set and setting to find a space that's safe, to assign guardianship while we're in that space, to maintain the space and stay in the space so that we don't run into problems and so that we don't have our judgment impacted. Because, those parasites will come in and they will start goading you into doing more and more and worse. And some of those blackout experiences that people have, that's where something came in and just took you over. Because, hey, the door was open, right? Just like you wouldn't leave your doors and windows open to the neighborhood and just invite whoever in. Don't do that with your body. Don't do that with your spirit. Don't leave yourself open that way. You deserve better. So, easier to resolve those two origins of the problem than the third. The third big one that applies to most of us, and that's trauma. Trauma can create holes in our spiritual body that can then be exploited. There are some who have learned how to exploit that to control other people. There are some who have made what I would call unholy alliances to utilize trauma techniques to exploit others or to offer others as tribute to non-corporeal entities in exchange for favors or power. And if trauma is the reason for the parasitic infestation that you experience, it's going to take a little more work to resolve that. And it might take the intervention of another person. Because if there was a third party that caused the trauma, that opened you up, it may take a third party to work with you to resolve that. Sometimes it's a matter of a soul piece, a fractured point. This could get really complicated. So I'm going to try to keep it really simple. And let's just say that if you think that that might be the trigger point, the origin of a parasitic and an astral parasite problem, you need to take yourself back to the incident that created the problem. And you need to take yourself, your sovereignty, back. Now, most often that happens when we're children or when we're in an extremely vulnerable space as adults. Most often it happens to young people where they have an experience that's so detrimental that it opens up access for a parasite to take hold. Now, the same steps of revoking it, it's welcome. You're not welcomed here. Unhooking it and filling that hole in so it can't come back. You still want to do that. But you also want to go back to whatever that trigger point was, whatever that origin was, and take a good hard look at that and resolve that in yourself. Which means sending your will, your consciousness, your nurturance, your love back to the child or the young person that you were, letting them know it's going to be all right. I'm going to protect you. You don't have to be a victim anymore. It's going to be okay. I'm going to make it okay. Send that energy back and enfold that little piece of the child, the adolescent, the vulnerable part of you that got hurt, whether it was when you were much younger or whether it was a little further into your life. Enfold that. It's going to be all right. We're going to make it all right. We're going to take care of you. It's going to be okay. In this circumstance, with this sort of origin, you're going to need to contact Source and ask for protection, and ask for healing, and ask for help. Ask. And then when the help is sent and comes, and it's going to come through you, because that's how this works. If you want to affect this reality, it's going to have to come through you in this reality. You are the spark of the divine. You hold that spark. You can hold the flame of the divine if you ask. And if you prepare yourself properly, and if you're willing to invite and be that flame, you ask for help, comes through you, and you send it on. You send it to that part of you that needs it. And then you hang on. And the more distress and the more problems, the more you bring through and help. I know that's a tall order. It's a tall ask. And you may need to bring in somebody to help you with that process. Someone who's worked this before, knows how to do it, and can reinforce what you're doing and help with that. But it will get rid of your parasite, and it will help restore you. And if you lost a soul piece over this, you can get it back, which is going to help you enormously in the here and now. So, something to think about, and welcome to the woods.